You mentioned Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson. I've recently been watching this Netflix show called Adolescence, which is an interesting show about um, a young male who is suspected of murdering a classmate. Uh, um, and without giving spoilers, it's linked to this idea of like male rage, um, the world of incels, and I because I can't get what I want and I'm insecure and I'm this or that, I'm going to like attack those that don't gratify me. Um, and I haven't been a teenager, obviously, for many years, so I've kind of forgotten a lot of what that felt like. But it did remind me, when you are a teenager, you are kind of figuring your place in the social hierarchy. You're often in pain. You often feel judged. You're often comparing yourself to other people. And it can be a really tough place to be, especially like, you're getting these new drives. Attraction is coming online. It just got me thinking, how could Stoicism help teenagers that are feeling insecure, or they're feeling this pressure of like, who am I? Where do I stack up to other people? It just got me thinking about that. I was wondering if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, good question. Sorry, I needed a cough there. Um, yeah, this is something that it's kind of been in the back of my mind for a while, and I've thought about doing an episode on this because I think it is incredibly important. Um, my kids are both grown, so they're 21 and 23, so they're past a lot of that. And my, and my son he's a very stoic personality to begin with, so he's very thoughtful. He's just always been kind of a deep thinker to begin with, and so when people are overreacting about things, he's very good at analyzing what they're doing and going, that's interesting. I wonder why they're acting that way. Rather than being like, oh, that guy's a total jerk and, getting upset. He's always just been like, like one thing he loves flowered shirts for some reason. He loves flowers. Even though he's very masculine, but he loves flowers. And so he had like this sweatshirt that he just loved that had this cool flower arrangement. It kind of looked like I don't know if you ever listened to New Order, but like I think it's Power, Corruption, and Lies, the the picture that's on the front of that one. Um, but then he had some shoes that had this cool flower thing on it. And he had his own style of things, and so occasionally somebody at school would make a comment like he was gay or something, and he just like, huh, okay, and they'd be expecting some kind of response, and or something, and he just would be like, well, that's interesting that you think that, or just kind of some some remark that it wasn't snide or rude. It was just more of like, interesting. And they'd be like, well, what you going to do about it? He's like, well, I'm going to go to class. Talk to you later. And just walk off. And they'd be like, they're trying to get a rise out of him, and he just never did. But I think that, yeah, I think this is a tough one. I think that what happens is, um, I think there's just a lot of disillusionment in the world about what is of value, what's important, uh, what you deserve. And I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I actually did an episode. It was like, what do you deserve? I'm like, you deserve absolutely nothing in life, you know? And I didn't mean it to be rude, but it was just like, the fact that you have everything that you do, the fact that you are alive, the fact that you have parents, the fact that you have siblings, the fact that you have enough food to eat, you never deserve any of those things, but you get those things. And that helps you to be more appreciative of the world. But I think what happens is with young men is that they get these ideas of they're unhappy, they're insecure, and then somebody comes along and says, and then reinforces those and makes them feel even worse about themselves, then suddenly steps up and goes, and I have the cure. And it's not really the cure because it doesn't really do anything to help them. It just gives them an outlet for the anger and the rage that they feel. It doesn't actually do anything to get to the root cause of it. It's just that it gives them permission to channel it somewhere. And I think that's really what the issue is. They don't take the time to learn how to understand their thinking, learn why they're thinking these thoughts, and to be able to have a clear emotional understanding. And I think that really falls on the parents, unfortunately. And it does fall on society, teaching that emotional intelligence of, hey, I understand you're feeling this, but what's the story you're telling yourself in your head about why this is? And um, Scott Galloway talks about this quite a bit. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a economics professor. I think I want to say Columbia, but he talks on a lot of podcasts, and he's very, very into this idea of kind of being the not him personally, but just talking about these things and trying to bring them up in the open. And I really appreciate his kind of take on there. And he's just like, yeah, he goes, dating is hard. Getting girls is hard. It's scary. It's awkward, and you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, but it's really going out and trying to make those mistakes. And I was insecure in high school, which I look back at, I didn't think I was that good looking, but when I go back and look at my pictures now of what I look like in high school, I'm like, damn, I was a good looking kid. What the hell? But, I thought I was just this, I didn't think I was all that good looking back then. And so I was insecure. And so I wasn't really good at getting a girlfriend, even though I mean, I did okay, but I got out there and I tried. And I had some girls turn me down, and I had someone said, sure, yeah, I'll go to the dance with you. That's great. But that practice of trying and failing, I think is something that's really, really important. And, the incel culture they just want everything to be given to them. And that's just not how life works. And so you're going to have to get out there. You're going to fail. You're going to make lots of mistakes. But through that, you're going to learn how to be charming. You're going to learn how to be funny. You're going to learn how to have good conversations. You're going to learn how to attract a woman that's going to find you attractive. And it's going to take time. And I think that there are a lot of things to play into that. I think our instant culture of I want it now, and I get it now. And I think that's why a lot of them will just resort to porn, because it's easier than, you get what you want. You pop on the porn channel and you have the exact woman, the exact type of sex you want to watch, and you didn't really have to work for it. But it's also never going to be as fulfilling either.
Yeah. Definitely.